Community, we're back with our popular segment where we speak to founders from all over the globe in the world of sports tech. And today it is no different. I have the great man himself, Mr. Tony Laudato. Tony, how are you, buddy?
Hey, great. Great to be with you today.
It is my pleasure. Tony, let's go back in time. Where did it all begin for you, mate?
Well, it's actually been a very interesting journey for us here at TDJ Golf. By background, I've actually been in the financial services industry for years. I've been working with insurance more than 25 years. Worked with a number of different startups in the insurance industry, which sort of lit the bug of, I've had a number of ideas over the years and finally decided to take one of the ideas and sort of take the leap. So my son, who's actually the co-founder of TDJ Golf as well, we were sitting watching the Masters, I believe 2 years ago now. And we're sitting there saying, wow, wouldn't this be just fantastic to be able to play first in this tournament, and that's, along with all these great players. We sort of idolized all these players our lives as we've sort of both grown up golfing. And before we knew it, we sort of started having this idea of, well, what if you could start to play along? And so really, born it out of just our desire to try something new, know that there's an opportunity in the golf space. We sort of see the sort of explosion of what's going on with fantasy sports, but sort of golf has always been sort of an underserved industry along fantasy sports. And golfers are trying to get more out of what it is that they do every day. And so, we're hustling as much as we can. We're still both working full-time jobs, hustling on the side, and working to get this company off the ground and sort of get more golf in the golfers' hands. That's really what they love, and have them have more games that they can play each week along with the tour.
Wow, yeah, that's pretty much a startup story summed up right there. You got a small idea, turns into a business. You can't go into it just yet because the finances are not right. So you basically got to working, getting the startup going.
Absolutely.
Keeping the cash flow coming through, not spending too much, not getting excited and going out and pumping tons of money on marketing, exposure, growth, whatever.
Right.
So crazy times.
Yeah. We've been taking sort of a very slow, measured approach, but it's been working pretty well for us. We keep getting more and more recognition in the market as I think people are seeing that they, in particular in the golf industry, engagement is key. And both golf clubs and sort of other golf associations are looking to engage their membership and their golfers more and more every day. And so the contests that we can provide them give them that ability now to engage on a much deeper level, have people stay around the facilities longer, or find ways that they can reach much deeper into their memberships that they've really ever been able to do before.
There's a famous old saying, it goes by the way of slow and steady wins the race. So
Exactly.
Great approach.
That's definitely the path we're on.
Yeah, most great businesses are. So anyway, let's go through TDJ Golf. Take us through what it is.
Absolutely, yeah. So we are the next generation of fantasy golf. When we think of fantasy sports, golf is actually the only sport that you can play along with your squad. If we think of American football, if we think of basketball, you can't go along and sort of go out on Saturday and play a game and have that count for anything. Well, golf you can. You can actually go out. There's an established handicap system in golf. People of all different abilities can play with each other. It's been like that for a long time, and so this is actually a sport where a golfer can go out. They can pick their 3 favorite guys playing on the PGA Tour each weekend, and then go play their own rounds Thursday through Sunday, combine those scores, and sort of that's their squad for the week. And you're playing against everybody either at your own club, within the golf association, or frankly with others all across the country. So we think it's a really sort of nice, unique take on what you can do with fantasy sports. sort of really taking it to that next level of combining sort of everything going on in fantasy and sort of esports with the reality of actually playing the game on the course itself.
It's pretty crazy, isn't it? If you think of it, when you can play with anyone and you can just keep updating your handicap basically. So
absolutely right. Yep. Yeah. So we have, like right now, we have people playing, across the country against each other each week on different golf courses, picking their favorite guys. So it's the golf season's just starting to ramp up here in the U.S. as we are starting to emerge out of the winter, at least. So we'll be in full swing with things, when we really get into, about the time when the Masters start. So, that's really when the season picks up in full, is sort of at the beginning of April.
How do you guys make money?
Yeah, so very similar to sort of other fantasy sports platforms. So anytime someone enters a contest, there's an entry fee for that contest. And so we have slightly different pricing models depending if we're going sort of direct to consumer and sort of building out a full league, a full national presence, or if we're doing tailored contests for either individual golf courses or for the larger state golf associations within the United States as well.
National will be huge, and if you can base it on the major tournaments, it'll be even bigger. So.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, in the U.S. now, we can see there's about 11 million people that play fantasy golf alone, which actually really surprised me. I didn't think the number would be that large. And the number of avid golfers in the United States, so they make up more than half of the rounds that are played in a year, is roughly about 10 million as well. And so it actually builds out a nice niche user experience of people who really love golf, and then being able to put it all together. From an overall business point of view, obviously, even with just a fraction of those, it could be a very successful
Absolutely.
business opportunity. Yeah.
Talk to me about your future. Where do you guys see yourselves heading?
Yeah, so we're right now we're super focused on finding partnerships. So the partnerships along with, like I was mentioning, the state golf associations. So in the United States, the state golf associations, each state will, they'll have between 10,000 golfers and 400,000 golfers, let's say, in any state. They're really looking for ways to do more with their members.
Wow.
That they have in those. Those people are paying dues each year. They're looking to get more and more out of that. So looking for partnerships there, as well as partnerships of other people where people are getting into golf. So it could be companies that are selling tee times, let's say. So there we could actually be on sort of bottom of checkout saying, hey, when you set a tee time for this week, do you want to play in this additional contest that's sponsored by the tee time company? So we see there's a lot of different opportunities around people who are already engaging with golfers and getting them sort of into playing the game, and then putting on an additional contest to help that experience just get better. So the thing I like most about what we're doing is we're not actually changing the way people play the game at all. People are going out playing their normal games, but can play this alongside of it. So we're not actually going out and saying, okay, you need to put, trackers on your clubs and do all this. We're just trying to go out and have people have a little more fun playing one more contest. Golfers love to play games when they're out there. They're always finding a new game to play with all their friends out there, sort of one more game that they can play. And now they can do it where there's a little more interest in what's going on in the pro ranks as well. So
you're improving connectivity.
Correct.
And sharing experiences as well.
It was funny. We were talking to one of our golf advisors who plays on the LPGA tour. She's saying, actually, she's like, I love what you guys are doing, because you're creating a team sport out of an individual sport. Golf can be very lonely when you're out there playing by yourself.
It's very true.
It's really a game against the golf course.
Yeah.
Now, actually, this idea that you have a squad with you that can help you out a little if you're having a tough day, or you see that you need to pick them up because they're having a tough day, and with the live scoring in the app and things like that, you can see it all happening in real time, and sort of what the pros are doing and what you're doing, and how you're either hoping they're helping you out, or you need to play a little bit harder to pick them up. So it's fun.
Phenomenal. Great work. Talk to me about your tech. How does tech play its role in your platform?
Well, sure. Honestly, without sort of technology and the ability to, get the information and the data real time for fantasy sports, this really isn't this really wouldn't be much. And so, golf courses in the past have been playing a game like this for years. They would pick a pro out of the hat, play alongside. Everyone in the pro shop then's got to do all the work and figure out what the scores were. We can just deliver now the technology so that people can enjoy this without having to do all the work sort of really behind it. And then to be able to do it on scale, is something, the technology platform that we've set up, we can actually tailor individual contests for either golf clubs or whoever within a matter of a minute.
Wow.
So we can get that. We can get it pushed out to the app, a code out to them. They can be out and playing. And that's really what we want to be able to do, is have it so scalable that it can feel like a very customized experience, but on our end, we don't have to throw sort of massive amounts of staff at it. So a lot of time went into the overall design of the platform to make sure that it was something that we'd be able to scale.
Phenomenal. Awesome. Well, what does the future look like in terms of tech? How do you guys innovate, create, move forward, do things differently?
There's, I think there's so much there. Clearly around, as we get better and more timely data feeds through fantasy sports and through the fantasy sports data providers, I think the ability to go truly live real time will be a massive improvement. We pull in information sort of on a minute basis, where really that information can start flowing on a real time basis. We see with sort of the explosion of where gambling is going in major sports too, that could be the next outlet sort of, as well as, how do you amp up the stakes in some of this as well, and start to build out some additional contests sort of down that road. And we think content is also sort of another really big piece, and the ability to, through the tech platform, to be able to deliver sort of more customized content to help people make their picks, follow along, get more news, sort of know what's going on with their squad more directly. So.
Awesome. Any thoughts of AR out on the golf course? Pretend there's Tiger Woods next to me.
Sure. Yeah. There's a million ideas that we've been floating around, around what really could you start to do around the simulation side of the game too.
Wow.
It's really endless sort of what it is that you could be doing, especially now that you can collect all of the data and all the statistics of what you can do to sort of recreate, rounds that the professionals have played over the years. There's a lot you could do on sort of the simulation side of this as well, and make it pretty realistic, actually.
Yeah, it's if you have a user base, a smart thing would be to do is some of these tech platforms like your Snapchats and whatnot, mate, they're looking for users unconventional, unorthodox, whatever.
Exactly.
So it's good for your PR, it's good for your brand, it's good for everything. So
exactly.
But the future is bright.
The future is bright. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
All right, awesome. So it's been a journey. You've been through finance. Now you're in the world of tech and startups. If you could go back, would you have started earlier?
I don't know that we could have done what we did at the time. I don't know that the technology was there. We actually, I think, are hitting it at just about the right time. We hit it at the sort of the explosion of fantasy sports with the availability of sort of mobile technology and the data feeds at the same time. So I would have loved to have said that I could have done it earlier. I don't know that it could have been sort of, I think, where we are now or what we have in the future. I think we would have been a little bit ahead of our time, probably.
It's so crazy, isn't it? Like, to get a product right, you need the tech to be timely. You need the product to be timely. You need the platforms around you, your larger players like your Amazons, your Googles, your whatever.
Exactly, right.
Building the right tech to accommodate your tech. Like
Yep.
so much has to go right just for you.
I couldn't even imagine sort of, you know, having to host and handle the entire sort of hosting side of just that part of the piece alone changes the model of what we would need to do completely, versus now of sort of unlimited scalability, you know, through some of the big players. It really changes everything that we can do.
Anywhere in the world, basically. Oh, online.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. So that's the crazy thing with startups and tech, especially tech. Like so many different variables have to go right, and for things to really come together. And the world we live in now is just insane.
It is the possibilities are limitless, and to see the creativity of sort of new sports tech companies that are out there too, it is so great to see so many just cool ideas of ways that they're getting people to engage with their favorite sports better. And that's really the thing that we're doing here too. We just want to find a way to have people engage in their favorite sport and have more fun while they're doing it. We see a lot of sort of advancements in golf, and actually a lot of the technology in golf has always been around sort of player improvement.
Wearables, eh?
Exactly. So wearables and sensors on clubs, and, you know, all about sort of making your game better. We're like, I don't necessarily care if you're any better at it. I just want you to go to have fun while you're doing it.
Yeah, but
so we've sort of taken a different approach. It's nice.
Yeah, that's what leagues are starting to realize, that the athletes are getting better, but our fans are not being engaged. So we better pick up our game.
Exactly.
Yeah, because there's so many leagues and sports and entertainment. Because nowadays it's not just, you got your esports, you got your sport, you got all these other forms of entertainment. So it's a competition for attention. So how do you keep the fan in your ecosystem, in your circle? That's the challenge now. That's where you guys come in.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. We actually did a pilot with the State Golf Association last year, and the feedback that we got from people that played was just phenomenal. You know, we had 92% of players saying they wanted to play in a full year league of contests. I never imagined the number would be as high as that. And so we were really, really thrilled. We kind of know that we're on the right track, and now it's a matter of, you know, just keep sort of moving along the product roadmap, and, you know, and start marketing now in a bigger and better way.
Absolutely, my man. Great things ahead. Great things ahead. Always stay positive and always tackle things with a very wide eye.
Yep, one day at a time.
Absolutely. Tony, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate. Really, really enjoyed your chat.
Really appreciate it. Thanks.
Before we let you go, how do we download the app? Where do we find it?
Yeah. So on any of the app stores, you can go out, search TDJ Golf. It'll come up. It should come up right there. You can also search Fantasy Golf. Usually comes up on the first page for Fantasy Golf as well. So, or they can go out to tdjgolf.com, learn a little bit more there, and there's links to the app stores there as well.
Are you guys going to try and own that keyword or what?
I'm sorry, what was that?
You guys have to own that keyword. Fantasy golf has to be yours. Has to be TD.
We are working on it. We are working on
content pumping. Yep. Absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, Mr. Tony, thank you very much for joining me on the Sports Wonder podcast.
You bet. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.